Chief, that's okay. A good job, sir. A good job. You see, that other part, we might have to leave that out of this space.
Yes. Why?
It's not that I'm scared, though. I'm not scared, but you see, that introduction is just a lot to take in.
But you asked for everything, and you get everything. When I am done, you decide what the court needs and what they don't. But when I'm done, don't you ever ask me to repeat myself.
The blood of Jesus.
At this point, I'm not sure I know what it would take for Gbero to learn, because it's obvious he has still not learned. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lami, and on this channel I film about movies, movie reviews, and have conversations with you guys. As you already know by the title, it is Abattoir episode 9, season 5 episode 9 review, and let's just jump into it already. You know how we do it. Summary, lessons, expectations, and fun scenes and all that good stuff. So a quick summary of what happened in episode 9. In episode 9, Martins almost loses his job because Mr. Kofo is just a weapon fashioned against him. Yeah, so Martins almost loses his job. Martins also is at a point where, you know, he realizes it's okay to go through the fire, it's okay to go through a hard time, and it's okay. Just know that God is with you while going through that. Okay. Also, did I mention that it was thanks to HOD that Martins didn't lose his job eventually? Well, let's go to Akin. Now Natalie knows that Camilla didn't die, and Akin is now seen as a miracle worker in the hospital because he raised his daughter up. He raised his daughter up, and you know, some parents brought their kids for him to raise, and through the help of his wife making him realize that you actually didn't raise Camilla, Jesus raised Camilla through you, right? He was able to also pray for another child that God healed, a child that couldn't walk, that God healed. And yeah, that's about Akin's family, Natalie, Camilla, and all of those. For Chief Jorosonya's legal counsel are now, you know, gathering their facts, right? Which is Gbero and Mr. Adegbola. So they, at this point, they want to know, tell us your story, what has happened, what's in your past. And when I opened this video by saying Gbero has still not learned, it's because he has still not learned. He still doesn't know how to talk. He still doesn't know the right questions to ask. He still feels like anyways, in the process of Gbero asking Chief Jorosonya to tell them everything, he realized actually he wasn't even ready for the things he was asking for. For Dele and his brethren, Dele is now saying leading the house fellowship or prayer meeting that meets in HOD's house. Lastly, Rambo and Baba Gbero. Rambo is still at Baba Gbero's house, and he is past literally comes back calling because Grandmaster visits him, and we were taking through like a journey of how he got to the Red Horn fraternity in the first place, you know, and how he rose in the ladder of authority to the point where he got to who we now know as Rambo. While Baba Gbero and his wife were praying, you know, all that battle, because the real point of why Grand Commander came was because, is it Grand Commander now? Yes, Grand Commander. Of why Grand Commander came was, at this point you're useless. I asked you to kill Chief Jorosonya and Martins. You didn't kill them. You're just here sleeping. What's the point? You can as well die. So it's not like Rambo 2 now wants to kill Rambo. Eventually, Jesus takes the victory, and Jesus comes to clean his feet of, you know, all the blood he spilled and the blood he's walked in, and he gets a new name, which is Paul Israel. Beautiful ending, if you ask me. So that's literally everything that happened in episode 9. So now let's jump right into the lessons. Just for a moment, try and put yourself in Akin's shoes, right? You jack your daughter up, and you know, she comes back to life, and in a couple of minutes there are people waiting for you in the hospital reception asking you to heal their children too. He couldn't have thought that it would end that way. So his fears and saying, I don't even know if I can do anything for these people, is very, very justified. And we see the role of a partner, a wife, or a partner really, because he could have been a husband doing that for the wife. So his wife, helping him to realize how you feel is not as important as your faith in God.
Where is your faith?
Faith. My faith is where I left it.
Remember, the Bible says, faith is confidence in what we hope for and the assurance of what we do not see. Your feelings are not as important as your faith in the word of God.
And that kind of goes to my second point, which is that, when you start feeling, because there was a point where Akin was like, what if nothing happens? What if, and it just reminded me of something I learned a while ago, that when you pray for someone and the person doesn't get maybe healed, or their prayer doesn't come answered, and you start to feel ashamed, it's because you believed that you will make that prayer answered. If you knew from the beginning that it wasn't your responsibility to make the prayer answered, if the prayer wasn't answered, you won't feel shame, right? So somewhere in your head, you expected the accolade and the victory to come to you when the prayer is answered. So when the prayer wasn't answered, you're feeling shame and, some kind of way. When you know that Jesus is the healer, when someone doesn't get healed, you don't feel shame. You redirect the person back to Jesus. Jesus is the healer. I just happen to be the one praying for you. So those are like very interesting intertwined lessons from that experience in the hospital and that conversation Sophia and her husband Akin had, just reminding us that yes, God can do a great thing through you. God can do a miracle through you. You must never forget that He is the miracle worker. He is the healer. He is the provider. He is everything. You just happen to be the channel. And as believers, we should always redirect people back to God, because people will see you, right? For instance, maybe if you pray for someone and the person gets healed, people will see, it's you that people will see, right? You did it, but you as a believer have the responsibility of redirecting them back to Jesus, that Jesus is the healer, Jesus is the giver, Jesus is the this and all of that. I hope that makes sense to you. I find the dynamics and the lessons and how they're tussling with how the writer is literally just tossing with the Martins and Daly relationship. I find it very interesting, because if you remember, if you've been following Abattoir, you remember and you know that Mr. Martins led Daly to Christ. Yeah, and Mr. Martins is at a point where he's going through the tribulations and every haggle of life, and he's at the point where it feels like Daly is doing more great work than him. Now, that is one. That could have gone in so many different ways. But and it's just okay for Martins to feel. You remember when HOD called the man of God and it happened to be Daly, he felt some kind of way like Daly. But I love the fact that he didn't let his feeling at that moment to get in the way of him receiving the word God has for him at that point, because that word was for him. Imagine if he let his ego, he let his feelings get in the way and say, it's Daly that is talking now. What can Daly teach him? What's there to? Which is a picture of a lot of people's, experience or something. Maybe someone you saw give their life to Christ, or someone you led to Christ, or someone that met you in church, or someone that met you in the faith. It can be in different ways. There's a way, there's this seniority dynamic of, I got to the faith before you, I got saved before you. There's that seniority dynamic. Nobody is like, I understand the leadership structure of the church, the faith. Even the early church had like apostles and all of that. Yeah. But at the same time, we are all children of God. And when there is a word, it can come through anyone. It doesn't have to come through the leaders alone. Yeah. So I love the fact that Martins didn't let the fact that it was Daly that was talking get in the way of him receiving the word, because he really needed that word. He really needed that word. He really needed to hear that. Yes, I'm going through the storm, I'm going through the fire, but Jesus is the fourth man in the fire and he's with me. And I love that it did not stop him from being vulnerable in prayer and just at that point praying like, thank you for being with me. Thank you. That's such a great lesson because our feelings and our egos just get in the way a lot of times, and they make us forget that God is not is interested in your feelings, but he still wants to get his word across to you, right? Before I go to the lessons from Rambo and Baba Gbero, let me quickly talk about Gbero. Gbero is a big baby. Gbero, I don't know, maybe because he's the only child though. I don't know, maybe that's a contributor to why he's behaving like this. A grown man who is still behaving like a child. Like Gbero still has a lot of growing up to do, and it just shows that sometimes people get older and are not exactly wise. Now it sounds like I'm beefing Gbero. I'm not beefing him. It's just maybe I'm beefing him. Maybe let me just say it, because as a lawyer, first of all, professionally, if you want to get your clients to because there is the lawyer client confidentiality, they're supposed to really tell you everything, right? So you know where to help their case from. But Gbero just going from the point of, you're already guilty, just tell us everything you have done. We know that you're already guilty. I'm like, bro, sure, you will calm down, because you know that at this point, if your client should beat you up, then I know you I cannot beat him up. I'm just saying. But anyways, that's that. I just needed to point out that some believers still have a lot of growing up to do. You still have a lot of growing up to do. I still have a lot of growing up to do. Do you ever catch yourself do something and you're just like, nah, I shouldn't be doing that. That should not be something I am still doing at this point. Do you get? So let's just say, let's keep praying for Gbero. All of us, we need to lay hands. We need to help him, because for you to ask for details, and you cannot even take the details you're asking for, because they are beyond you. They are even more than the things you can imagine. And I'm tired of talking about that guy. Now to our Baba Gbero, let me just say that Baba Gbero is proof that discipleship is not a one-time thing. Discipleship is not most discipleship or thorough discipleship is not short-termed. It's not short-lived. Yes, there are certain, depending on the dynamics, there are certain people that you might not like. You don't have to be on their case every time. But discipleship is not a one-time thing. And the early church are just proof of that. Imagine Apostle Paul writing chapters and chapters and chapters of letters. Most of the books we have in the New Testament are books that were written by disciples to their should I say disciples or to their mentees. It's not mentees, it's not a mentor-mentee relationship. It's a discipler and a person who is being discipled relationship. So imagine disciples taking time to write chapters and chapters and chapters. For instance, the book of, I'm not sure I remember what book now, but there's this particular book that it has first something and second something, and it was simply, is it Timothy now? I don't remember the book. One of them just trying to explain a concept or something to one person. And that's now what we read as the Bible, and has helped us understand things better, and has helped, thousands and thousands and tens and hundreds of thousands of believers understand that concept, because one person decided to disciple another person correctly. And there's another part of the Bible where one of the apostles heard someone say something and was like, oh no, this person is in error, and he took his time to write a book or chapters to let the person understand it better. Discipleship is not, thorough discipleship is not fast food. It's not microwave version. It is painstaking. It is thorough. It takes time. And Baba Gbero literally proves that. There are people, imagine him still actively in Martin's life. Imagine him still actively in Chief Durosanya's life. Him actively still in um all these other people, all these people, and he still like thinks about them, prays for them, you know. He still will know when they are going through something. They are still his go-to, he's still their go-to when they are going through something. And yeah, it's just when I saw him when towards the end, when he was like was telling mommy that, have you heard from them? He still, has a heart for them. He just didn't, save them and leave them. And that's another thing. The I think the body, I don't know if we've lost it or we just don't have it with the same intensity we used to have it. Is getting people saved and not getting them discipled correctly, right? Yeah, that I just needed to point that out. Discipleship is not a one-time thing. It is thorough. It takes time because people go through like stuff on a daily basis, yeah. And yeah, so Bawagwero just being an amazing discipler was interesting to see. Asking mommy, have you heard from them? Have you? And mommy was just saying they're fine, they're fine, they're okay. And goes to the other lesson from that scenario is, mommy saying when you commit something to the hands of God, you don't go back and keep checking. When you hand over something to God, you don't worry about it. You don't stress about it. It's easier said than done, but it's true. God is not careless. He's not a bad manager. There's something I used to say that God cannot spoil my life. In my language, it literally means that like it's too delicate. And if I've handed over my God to myself, my life to Him, I am too certain that He won't mismanage my life. He won't mismanage me. Yeah. So, and that can go in different. It can be your life, it can be your business, your academics, your anything you handed over to God. Be rest assured that is a good husband man. He's a good husband man. He won't mismanage it. He won't ruin it. You can be rest assured that it's in the best hands. I was about to say it's in good hands, but it's in the best hands. Yeah. So talking about the experience Rambo had in Baba Gwenro's house was literally him. It was literally his past revisiting him. And the part where he was talking to himself, the hunter now talking to Rambo, and Rambo is trying to say, the man told me that, I'm safe here. The man told me, and the devil kept lying. That just tells us that the devil is a master of lies, you know. And when you start to hear that voice in your head, accusing you, reminding you of the things you've done, that voice in your head telling you you're not good enough, you're not perfect, you're too dirty for God to save, or it's not someone like you that God died for. The devil is a master of lies. He's been doing it for ages, right? And these are things even believers, like, I mean, without having gone through a Rambo kind of life, you can imagine the lies that the devil says in the media, in the systems and structures that we have today. Is a master of lies, and some lies are not even as vivid and as obvious as you know how some things you just hear them and it seems cool, it seems okay, but the foundation of that statement is a lie. And you're just like, on the surface this thing sounds very harmless and it's okay, but what sponsored this thought, what sponsored this statement is the lie of the devil, right? So the hunter lying, or just telling Rambo so many lies, like, no, it's not someone like you God can save. It's not, you're too filthy, you're too this and the loads and loads of lies he told him. The devil is a master of lies. He's not going to end. It's not going to end. Rather, it's one of his tactics, and he uses it daily. He uses it on believers. That's why you have to constantly pray over your heart and constantly pray, for your heart as a believer. I think one of the prayers I have learned to pray in recent times is just help my heart, because I know that's where the issues of life actually stream from. That's where I remember things. That's where I think upon things. That's where literally everything comes from. And yeah, it's just I just thought to prompt us that we should know that the devil is is very skillful with lies, and he would constantly remind you of things lied to you, but you should know the truth and you should reply him with the truth, which is what Rambo did. Actually, who would have thought that Rambo's name is Shegun? Who would have thought that Rambo's name is Shegun? It was just beautiful to hear and see his journey, how he came to the Red On fraternity, how he killed his girlfriend as a sacrifice, how he started getting comfortable just killing people and all of that. And thank God for Jesus, and Jesus now giving him a new name. What a perfect name. It had to be Paul. Like, if Paul wasn't in his name, I'm like, Jesus, let's revisit it. But I love that Jesus, I love that Paul is in his name, because it goes in pari passu. There's just some words you like and you use them even when it doesn't relate. Yeah. So it just goes. It just actually goes. Yeah. So my favorite scene is definitely when no, not Rambo, when Bero suddenly started getting pressed just from Chief Josiah answering his question.
The blood of Jesus.
What did you just say?
No, nothing. I didn't say anything.
I thought I heard something like the blood and the glory.
What is that again now?
That was our homage cry. No blood, no glory.
Mr. Debola, please.
Please, Barrister, please.
Okay, Barrister Debola, over to you.
Over to me?
Yes, I'm done with the questioning.
No, I thought you said you wanted to do the questioning.
No, at this point, I've had enough. I'm done. I'm pressed. Officer, please, where's your toilet? I need to use the gent. Okay, thank you. So then I just feel, I'm coming.
Bero is very silly, very, very silly. At this point, is a character I don't even look forward to seeing him on my screen. When I see him, I'm just like, I've had enough of you. Anyways, right, my expectations for episode 10, it seems like everyone's past are now revisiting them. Rambo's past are revisiting, Chief Sonya's past are revisiting, Eva's past revisiting, as we see in the snippets from the next episode. So we see that Maki, did, I don't know, maybe he attacked her or he beat her up or something, but everyone's past are revisiting. And I love that Folarin is as much as we're not exactly sure where Folarin stands, because I understand that transformation takes time. So let's give grace to Folarin. And I love where Folarin goes. Who did this? Where is he, or who is he? And he's about to go gangster on him, because we need those kind of people in the kingdom. We need people that will literally draw the sword and cut the ear. Maybe that's just a discussion for next week. But we need people. We need some people. Everybody cannot be. We need some people that will go gangster once in a while when it's needed. Yeah, we need them in the kingdom. I said so. I said so. So it seems like everyone's past are now revisiting, and we're going to be seeing more of that. Also for Natalie, there's a possibility that Natalie will come up with something else, another tactic, another way to get to Akin, to get his attention, just for her to like. I think what she wants now is she just wants him back, and she doesn't realize that okay, the veil is off and he now knows what he's doing. He's no longer under the influence of his father's, whatever his father did to him. So I feel like she's going to come up with another thing to do. We didn't see Officer Gabriel at all in episode 9, which is very unusual. We are very used to seeing her on our screens. So the possibility of us now transiting into the court scenes is very high, because now the lawyers are talking. So Chief Jerosaya's case is fast approaching the court. That's for Chief Jerosaya. For Rambo would definitely now, of course, tell Agbero what happened, his experience. So Rambo is still going to be going through his healing and his transformation at this point. Who else? I think that's about it. Those are, if you have any expectations of the next episode, please do well to drop it in the comment section. I love to read from you. I love to know what you think. I just don't want to talk. I also want to hear what you guys think about this series. The purpose of making reviews is to have, you know, back and forth and conversations with everyone. Anyways, I think that's that from me for this episode. And again, if there are any episode movies you'd like me to review, please do let me know. I watched another Christian movie yesterday from what's this channel? Okmayemi Akin something. I'm trying to remember. Deep Thoughts, yeah, Deep Thoughts. And I'm thinking, do I want to review? I don't know. It was a good watch. I think Tinted Hearts. It was a good watch, and yeah. Anyways, that's about it. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on my next video. For now, bye.